Hey everyone, today we're going to look at upgrades. Everybody loves upgrading their equipment, but why do you upgrade, when do you upgrade, and how do you upgrade? That's the kind of stuff we're going to look at today. With each type of upgrade, you have to look at what's measurable. How do you judge performance? And it's different with each type of equipment. With a car, you can look at mileage, speed, durability. With graphics cards, you can look at, overall RAM, speed of the processor. It could be anything, and it differs for each person. So let's use myself as an example. I'm looking to upgrade my camera body. It's been about 5 or 6 years, and it might be time. Let's take a look at the factors and see if it's worth it. It's really tempting every time a new piece of new technology comes out to pounce and go purchase it, and you feel that FOMO, fear of missing out. But let's take a look at some reasons that will kind of rein us back in or let us loose. One easy telltale sign is the technology has doubled. Wherever you are now and whatever new piece of equipment is out there is twice the speed, twice the quality, twice whatever. That's a sign that you probably need to consider upgrading, but not the only sign. Number two is that maybe something's broken. Whatever piece of technology or equipment you have now isn't working the way it used to, or it's not working at all. In that case, you would want to look at how much it costs to repair. As a general rule, if the repair cost is at least half the price of buying something brand new or more, you probably don't want to repair it because that money's better invested in something brand new that'll last way longer. Of course, depending on the situation at hand. Number three is kind of interesting. It's when there's a huge leap in technology and culture shifts and things become incompatible. I'll give you a couple examples. Blockbuster is a favorite one. They kept renting videos and DVDs, and the whole world wanted streaming and they wanted downloading. They kept pressing on the way they were going, and look where they ended up. Because they didn't see the signs coming that it was incompatible with the culture that they were in. An even simpler example is, let's take my Wacom tablet for example. As technology got better and operating systems and computers grew, my tablet became so old that Wacom decided they were going to stop supporting it. So it now no longer even works on modern machines. So it's just a piece of plastic junk right now sitting in a drawer. I would need to buy a new one. I would need to upgrade. That's a sign of business cultural change. So back to my problem. I've got a Canon 6D Mark I that I'm shooting this on, and it's quite old. I've been shooting on it for 5 or 6 years. Still does the job, but I'm starting to see stuff out there that is way, way beyond what I've got now. And I'm a little concerned, so let's do some research. So Canon's released the R6 and the R5, their new mirrorless line for professional and enthusiasts. So already they're speaking my language. Literally in their press conferences they're saying, this is the enthusiast camera, so I need to check this out. So how do I judge what I need for my upgrade? So taking this camera for instance, I've got the 6D Mark I. I've got a couple things that I like to measure. How many shots are in focus? Are my shots exposed correctly? Am I able to do creative things with it? And how is it in low light when I need to recover a really dark shot? Can I recover it with enough quality? Those are all things that I feel this camera is not doing really well. So if I can take all those check boxes, measure them somewhat, and say that they've been doubled, to me that would warrant possibly some new gear. So what I'll be comparing today is the Canon 6D Mark I versus the Canon R6, their brand new mirrorless line. I want to see if I'm hitting double. Let's take a look. So the biggest, most obvious difference here is that the 6D Mark I is a DSLR. It has a mirror in it used to take the pictures, and the R6 is mirrorless. So when you look through the viewfinder, you're seeing a digital image of exactly what you're going to produce at the end, as opposed to an optical viewfinder where you're looking at real life and then it's translated into a picture later. So to be able to see the final product before it's taken is a huge advantage. Unbelievable. My issue why I haven't gone there yet is because I just didn't feel like anybody did it well enough now. But after looking at the EOS R, the viewfinder was very fast, very high res, equivalent to what I had now, so I don't feel like I was dropping. I didn't really like looking through the Sony. I didn't feel they were there yet. So just that fact alone, that I'm seeing the final product before it's done, I'm thinking that might be reduced. If not go away completely, with the R6 because I would never snap a picture if it was completely black or all white. You would notice something's wrong right away and correct it before you take the shot. So let's talk about low light. The 6D Mark I has a max ISO of about 25,000. That's as high as you can go to get a dark shot. And to be honest, I try not to shoot above 2,000 because the noise is just too great on the shots for my personal taste. So let's look at the R6. The R6's max is around 100,000, so that's 5 times more. That leads me to believe that I should have more leeway in raising the ISO and I should have higher quality shots with less noise. Speaking on creative options, the 6D Mark I has a max shot speed of about 4 frames per second, whereas the R6 has about 12 in the mechanical shutter. So I can take more shots continuously, capture more high-speed action, and hopefully get much better shots during those action sequences. So I like the ability to have more creative options at hand. A huge one here is the autofocus. The 6D Mark I has about 11 autofocus points, and they're all clustered in the middle of the frame. And I find I can't trust any kind of automatic feature on this camera. I have to do single point focus and recompose on pretty much everything, and that seriously limits my option on moving objects, especially when they're coming forward and backwards. Looking at the R6, that comes in with 6,000 autofocus points that cover the entire screen, not just the center, and it has intelligent, artificial intelligence and eye tracking and animal tracking. So all of a sudden, not only is my focus getting way better, my creative options are expanding wildly. So that's almost like a double bonus. A great example of my real world scenario where I'm struggling in this area is trying to take a picture of my 1-year-old. She's running all over, forward and back, doesn't listen to anything you say, and it's almost impossible to get her in focus with my 6D. So if I had some kind of eye tracking technology that was automatic, I can now relax and enjoy the shoot a lot more and let the camera do the work. And I should have way more in-focus shots. Another creative door that opens is the tilt and swivel LCD screen. The 6D Mark I is fixed, whereas the R6 can tilt and swivel. So while recording this video right now, I could see myself. I can take pictures higher and lower. Perfect example is this beach shot where, I have to hold the camera lower, but I can't actually see what I'm shooting unless I'm lying on the floor, and you don't want to lie in the sand. So having a tilt and swivel screen right there would have allowed me to create an incredible composition, way better than I probably am doing in this shot where I'm just literally guessing. So this year, Canon announced that they've got some software that allows you to use your digital cameras that they produce as webcams. But sadly, they left the 6D Mark I out of that equation. So here I am back in my Wacom tablet nightmare of a manufacturer starting to not support one of their products anymore. So what's next? What next will the 6D not be supported in that I'm going to lose out on? So I need to start thinking about what the next technology is now, or risk becoming the next blockbuster. It's really tempting to start weighing all of the bonuses that you don't have now, but if you don't need them right now, they're not really a reason to upgrade. If anything, they're just bonuses. So if you can complete all of your needs and your measurables, then start looking at the bonuses. So with the R6, I'm looking at, I can get a control ring now to add more functionality to how I shoot. I've got 2 card slots for added protection during weddings. I've got access to new lenses, but I don't lose access to any of my old lenses. And the adapter is already a Canon gear, so technically it should be more compatible than if I was using Canon lenses on a Sony body with some third-party adapter. On the flip side, it's also really easy to get negative on things and features, but you may not even need them. For example, the R5 shoots in 8K, and it's really easy to say, oh, I'm missing out on this, but do you even need 8K? Can your computer even handle 8K video? Mine can't. Mine can't even handle 4K, so I'm not concerned about any of that stuff at all. On top of that, there's the megapixel size. I'm not gaining anything there. I'm not doubling, but as you noticed, megapixel size is not one of my deciding factors. It's not a measurable that I'm looking to double. I'm already happy with the size. If anything, my images are too large sometimes. It takes up so much space on my hard drive. I'm happy with it, but I definitely don't want any more. So the R5 was out of my running because of that alone. With every upgrade to technology, you often lose something too. And in this case, it's the battery life. All this new screen and new technology is using extra juice and extra power out of these batteries, and the life isn't lasting as long. But the good news again is battery life is not a measurable thing that I'm worried about. And it's really easy to get a backup battery. In 2 seconds, you pop it in there and there's very little productivity lost. And it's very lightweight and it's very inexpensive. So that's all I've got for now. I feel like I'm hitting a lot of the points that I'm concerned about. It's something I'm very seriously considering buying. And just to jump back a little bit, why didn't I look at the 6D Mark II and the 5D? Well, I want to highlight that every single measurable point, in my opinion, should be hitting somewhere near double in order for you to consider an upgrade of this level and this investment. And unfortunately, the 5D series and the 6D series, as they got newer, didn't hit every single point for each individual camera. There were features that were kind of coming up in either one that were like, oh, that's kind of neat, oh, that's kind of neat, but not all of them together in one package like the R6 and the R5 are showing. So that's why I've stuck with the 6D Mark I, is I haven't seen all those signs yet. And going back again, the reason why I didn't go with Sony or Nikon to double and upgrade my equipment is because I've already invested a lot of money into Canon glass and Canon equipment, that to switch over, I'd be losing an incredible amount of money and time to go into these new systems. And the adapters have shown that they don't work really well, and you lose consistency and reliability in autofocus, which again is my measurable. If you enjoyed this and learned something, please hit like and subscribe. Visit DemaninPhotography.com or my Instagram for even more info. Bye for now.